back to my channel Tutelage. Here, this is Sriparna Kundu. I come again with a new topic. Hope all are doing well. In my last session, we have already discussed different definition of economics according to different economists and their definitions, features, advantages, drawbacks, and some basic concepts like major branches of economics and 3 basic economic questions. But for today, I want to start a new session with a new topic. So that topic is basic concepts of economics, and like other subject, economics has its own terms and concepts. So in this session we discuss some elementary concepts which are frequently used in economic analysis, and in fact many of these are commonly used in our day-to-day life, because we have already told that thing economics is a daily life science. And now I am starting my session. So learner, let's check what I will discuss for today's session and go to my next slide. Here this is my next slide, and we can see there are some subtopics for today's discussion. The first concept is human want and its types and its features. So in my last class we have already told that what do you mean by a human want, or what are the nature of human want, but in a shorter perspective. So today we discuss that thing in a broader terms. And now going to my next concept, that is the consumption. So we all know that economics, all economic activities ends with consumption. So consumption is one of the most important concept of economics. And last but not the least, the concept of utility and its features, it is also a very important concept of economics. So do not waste any time. Let's get started and go to my next slide. Here this is the main slide. So we can see basic concepts of economics in this slide. The first concept is human wants. So do you have any idea what do you mean by a human wants? So basically human wants refers to desires, aspirations and the motives of human beings. So as explained in my last session, economics is concerned with various economic issues pertaining to the economic behavior of every individuals of society and the economy. So basis of all economic activities is the existence of the human wants. Clear? So people work in order to earn an income so as to satisfy their human wants only. Clear? So human economic wants only, not the non-economic ones. Clear? So the word want ordinarily means a wish or desire to something. Okay, so in an ordinary sense, want and desire are used in a synonymous sense. But in economics, desire and want are used in a different sense. At first, we have to discuss what is desire. Clear? So desire refers to the wish to have something. For example, if I may desire to have an iPhone 12, so this is my desire phenomena, and I can't make payment for my iPhone 12. So which is not affordable, which is not affordable by me. So that's why the iPhone 12 is my desire phenomena. And when my desire phenomena would become my want phenomena, so that in that time I can make payment for my purchasing of iPhone 12. Clear? So want is an effective desire for a particular thing which can be satisfied by making an effort to acquire it. So for example, if I may desire to have a iPhone 12, but it would become my want only if I am ready to make an effort. So if I am ready to make a payment for my iPhone 12 or any expensive cars like Audi. Clear? What is the difference between desire and want in economics? And now going to my next slide. Here there are some classifications of human ones. So at first we have to discuss there are two human ones. The first one is the economic ones. First one is economic ones and second one is non-economic ones, and human ones can be classified according to a monetary terms. Clear? So what do you mean by a economic one? So we all understand that from this name, the economic and non-economic. So economic ones refers to those ones which can be satisfied by making a monetary payment for them. For example, the one for food or one for one for book. So this want can be satisfied by a monetary term. So that's why these ones are known as economic ones. Clear? And now going to my next classification. So that is the non-economic ones. So the ones which cannot be satisfied by making monetary payment for them. For example, the parents' love. We can't satisfy the parents' love by a monetary terms. Clear? So now according to the basic necessities of life, so human wants can be classified into types. The first one is a primary ones and second one is a secondary one, so which is in my next slide. And the first one that is the primary ones, and primary ones refers to those goods which are necessary for the very existence of human life and the maintenance of normal efficiency. So at first we have to know what do you mean by a very existence of human life. So because those ones, so very existence of human life means essential ones. Clear? For example, the food, clothing, shelter, this is our essential one, and this is known as a very existence of human life. Clear? And now going to the next group of words, that is the maintenance of normal efficiency. For example, table and chairs may be regarded as necessities for every student. So clear what is the primary ones? Okay. Yes, so human ones for the basic, those human ones are needed for the basic necessities of life. So that is known as a primary ones. And now going to my next slide. And here this is the next slide, and we can see at first this is the secondary. Extremely sorry, just a minute. So this is my next group, next classifications, the secondary ones. So what do you mean by a secondary ones? Secondary ones refers to those ones which arise only after the primary ones are satisfied. Clear? Primary ones are satisfied. So they relate to those ones which cater to the ones for comfort and the ones for luxurious. So secondary ones are classified into two groups. The first one is wants for comfort. Clear? So what do you mean by a wants for comfort? So these are the ones for those goods which is source of comfort and the happiness. For example, a sofa set in a room. So this thing make our life more comfortable and more happiness. More happiness. So this is known as a wants for comforts. So which goods carry a source of happiness to our place. Clear? And now going to my next word, that is the want for luxurious good. So luxurious. So we have already know what do you mean by a luxurious. So luxurious means these goods have high price, and these goods add to the prestige, and these are considered to be a status symbol by the society. So wants for luxurious refer to those ones which are very expensive and which are meant to show a wealth and power of a person. So, for example, the modern and costly houses, the expensive cars, the expensive diamond jewelry, and the AC, which are known as a luxurious, which are known as an example of the luxurious commodity. Clear? And now, going to my next classification, that is the individual want and the collective wants. And we have already understand what is the individual want and collective want according by their name. So individual wants refers to those ones which are only demanded by a single person or an individual, because which can be satisfied by individually. Clear? And for one for book, so that particular book is satisfied by a particular individual's human want, particular individual's want. Clear? And next one is a collective one. So collective wants are those which are wanted by us collectively, and for example, the good government or a good road can be satisfied by us collectively. So I think it will clear to everyone, and I am going to my next slide. So here this is my next slide, and we can see there are some features of human wants. Okay, so the first and most important human wants is the human wants are unlimited. So it is a very basic features. So every human want starts when the child is born, and these wants remain with the man till he goes to the graveyard. And the history of human civilizations bears testimony to the fact that human wants have always been unlimited all the time. So wants are unlimited because people have a multiple wants. Clear? And at the every time people acquire the new wants and all. And next one is human wants are repeated. So it is the basic characteristics of human wants. So they can be satisfied only temporarily. Therefore, they appear again and again, and they have to be satisfied every time. For example, having a meal in the morning does not mean that we will not feel hungry in the evening. So we need to have the meal once again. So human wants are recurrent or repeated. So next one is it may differ with age and gender. Obviously, every human beings wants differ with the age and gender of the individual. And next one is human wants are competitive. So we have already know resources is limited. So for example, I have 500 rupees. I can spend it in a restaurant for a dinner, or watching a movie in a theater, or watching a cricket match in a stadium. So there is a competition among these three ones. So restaurants, dinner bill in a restaurant, cricket match, ticket of the cricket match in stadium, and ticket of the movie in theater. So that's why human wants are competitive also. And next one is human wants differ in their urgency, health, climate, and the preferences also. So it is one of the important feature of human wants, and some wants are more urgent and others are less urgent. So it implies that an individual has a scale of preferences, and he can arrange only his wants in order to their relative urgency and importance to him. For example, we will like to give food our first preference always over all other ones, because our want for food is most important to us. Clear? So now I am going to my last features of human wants, and that is some human wants can be postponed. While others cannot be. For example, the one for a TV or a iPhone 12 or an expensive cars like Audi, so which can be postponed in case we don't have enough income, enough money for purchasing these goods. But the one for food, but one for water cannot be postponed. Clear? And there are two important features of human wants is the complementary and substitutability power. The first one is the complementary. So human wants are complementary. So what do you mean by a complementary thing? So for example, so I discuss that thing with an example, with a very easy example. So the one for car creates a one for petrol or diesel. So car and petrol or diesel both are complementary goods to each other. So that's why human wants are complementary. And next one is a substitutability. Substitutability. So what do you mean? What is meant by a substitutable power of every human want? So a particular one can be satisfied by two or more commodity or goods. So for example, if we are thirsty, our thirst can be satisfied by a cold drink or a glass of water. So here we are done for the discussion of features of human wants. Okay, so now I am going to my next slide. So it is the next slide, and it says the concept of consumption. So at first we have to know what do you mean by a consumptions, but before starting my discussion we have to say some words for an introduction. Clear? So we have a lot of commodities, and all commodities are needed to satisfy human wants. Clear? So all commodities are divided into two categories. The one is goods. So what do you mean by a goods? So goods are tangible on the material things such as the cards, pens, books, etc. Clear? And the second one is the services. So services is the non-tangible or intangible things, that means the non-material things. For example, the education, music, so which is an example of services. Clear? So all goods and services need to be consumed in order to human want. So we have to see human want and the consumptions phenomena all are closely related to each other. Clear? So act of using goods and services to satisfy human want, which is known as consumption. So now coming to the definition. So consumption is the direct use of goods or services in satisfying human wants, and it's a process through which human wants are satisfied. So now we have to know what do you mean by a consumer in a consumption process. So do you have any idea who are the consumer? So yes, consumer are those group of people who consumes goods and services to satisfy his or her wants. Clear? So for example, we use food to satisfy our hunger, or water to satisfy our thirsty. So in some cases consumption may take place immediately. For example, we eat any fruit, our hunger is satisfied immediately, so the food is used up and we can't use it again. But in some other cases the consumption may take place gradually over time. So that means the some goods like some durable consumers goods such as clothes, furniture, televisions, the the consumption of those goods takes place over a long time and till these goods are completely used up. Clear? And now we have to know why we study the consumption part. Okay, so the first thing is consumption is a very primary motive for economic activities. So all economic activities like production, exchange, and the distributions arises due to the consumptions part in an economy. And next one is we have already discussed that thing. All economic activities ends with consumption. So consumption is the end purpose of all economic activities. Clear? And consumption is the index of standard of living. So why we why consumption is why consumption is the index of standard of living? Because the level of consumptions and the types of goods consumed determine the standard of living of the people in an economy. Clear? So next one is it is a major determinant of employment. So the level of employment in an economy depends on the aggregate demand, and aggregate demand totally depends on the total consumptions. So now I am going to the next slide. Here this is the last slide, and that slide will discuss the concept of extremely sorry, just a minute. That slide will discuss the concept of utility. So, and utility is a very important phenomena of economics. So the act of consumption of all goods and services is able to satisfy our human wants only because goods and services possesses the utility. So it's clear to everyone, human wants, the consumptions, the utility, all are related to each other, and all goods and services will be purchased for consumption only if they possesses the utility. And utility refers to the want satisfying power of a commodity, and in economics utility refers to the total satisfactions received from a consuming a goods or services, and it is the ability or it is the ability or capacity of a commodity to satisfy human wants. So what do you mean by a utility? So I think it's clear to everyone. And now coming to the next part, that is the some features of utility. Okay, and for example, for example of utility, food have the power to satisfy our hungerness, and books, obviously books fulfill our desire for entertainment and for knowledge also. So but full discussion on utility will come in my next sessions, because utility has vast explanations, and now I will explain only some basic features about utility. The first feature is that utility is subjective. So utility cannot be observed and identified. It depends on the individual's own subjective estimate of the amount of satisfaction he is likely to get from something. Next one is utility is not measurable. Yes, obviously it cannot be measured by any measuring rod. Next one is it is different from usefulness. So a commodity may possess utility even though it may not be useful. For example, liquor So liquor have harmful effects, but even then liquor has utility power so long as it satisfies the harmful satisfies the want of a drinker. So utility is different from usefulness. Utility should not be confused with usefulness. So we are done for today's session. Before finishing my session, I will discuss all major topics that I have already taught in shortly. The first topic was the human want. So what do you mean by a human want? So all major desires, motivations, aspirations are known as human wants, and after that we have already discussed some features of human want. So what are the main features of human want? So human wants are unlimited, human wants are complementary, and these are competitive also, and human want can be satisfied, human wants can be postponed, and wants differ in their urgency, and human wants are repetitive. And the next concept was the consumption. So, learner, what do you mean by a consumption? So, consumption is a process through which human wants are satisfied. And the next concept is utility. So, what do you mean by a utility? So, utility have the one satisfying power of a commodity. So, human want, the consumption, and the utility, all three are related to each other. Clear? So in my next session I will discuss a vast explanation on utility, and I think it will be a more interesting part to everyone, and I will come back with a new session. Till then, stay tuned, and if you like my session, so please do comment and share and do more subscribe, and thank you.